Lead topic. Have you been following this Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia from El Salvador?
The wife beater?
The wife beater.
Said he punched his wife, not slapped, punched.
So this was a guy who fled to the U.S. in 2011, right? He was like 16 years old, and he said it was to escape gang threats and extortion from Barrio in El Salvador, right? That's where his family ran a business. And he settled up in Maryland because that's the closest thing to El Salvador in the United States is Maryland, right? So it went up to Maryland up there. I don't know how you landed in Maryland. That's my question.
What is it, the D.C. area?
I don't know. It just says Maryland.
And that's the thing. They're saying Maryland. That does sound crazy.
Yeah.
But it could be like near D.C.
Could be Baltimore. Yeah.
Oh, it could be Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Maryland or D.C. Either way, like this. People all over the world live there.
You know what I mean? So he married a U.S. citizen, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, and helped raise 3 children with special needs, is what it says. So what people don't realize is just marrying someone. I'm
kind of retarded.
We need that other sound effect that your kids look like retards.
You set me on freaking. I saw that when I was getting ready to come here. Like, what in the freaking?
I want to know the context, but no. So if you just marry somebody here, you don't automatically become a citizen. There's additional loophole. It definitely puts you on the fast track, but there's additional loopholes you got to go through. So he came to the country illegally. 2019 was arrested by ICE after a police informant alleged he was a member of MS-13. Now there were rumors that he was tied to a murder investigation, and that's where it came from. So he wasn't tied to the murder investigation. His name came up in a murder investigation as someone who was potentially an MS-13 gang member. So on March 12th, 2025, ICE detained him during a traffic stop in Maryland and deported him to this prison down in El Salvador. Now, this has obviously become a huge political thing. Both sides are freaking out. Here's my thing, guys. So his name popped up as an MS-13, right? And that's why they deported him. They're deporting the violent criminals and the alleged gang members. So that's why he got deported. Now, I don't know if this guy was a member of MS-13, but check out this video of it. If you go down to lead topic, that's where this is still there. This is a video of his wife. That's she's at a press conference and asking for them to bring him back. Go ahead.
Today is 34 days of after his disappearance, and I stand before you filled with spirit that refuses to bring down. I will not stop fighting until I see my husband alive.
He's going to show up and start
Kilmar,
fighting you.
If you can hear me, stay strong. God hasn't forgotten about you. Our children are asking, when would you come home? And I pray for the day I tell them the time and date that you'll return.
Her voice is so annoying.
I know. I'd want to get deported too. You know, like that's
send me somewhere without speakers.
Yeah. So she's like, if you can hear me, I'm like, something tells me they don't have Twitter in El Salvadorian prison. That's like, let's just establish that.
Oh,
so.
Man.
That's all fine and dandy. That's you pull it on the heartstrings and everything. Here's the thing, though. According to court filings, his wife filed a protection order against him several years ago for punching her, scratching her, ripping off her shirt, among other alleged violence there. So not the husband, father of the year that the mainstream media is making him out to be. The Supreme Court has since said in a 9-0 ruling, which is rare from the Supreme Court, that they have to send him back. Now, here's the problem.
You have to facilitate.
Yeah, they have to facilitate it. So that's very subjective. Yeah. Here's the problem. Now, the Supreme Court, their jurisdiction goes pretty far, but it doesn't quite span to El Salvador.
And the president of El Salvador said,
no,
he equated it to smuggling.
I'm not sending him back. Yeah.
He said, I can't smuggle terrorists back into this country.
Yeah.
How am I going to look doing that?
Well, that's the thing is they can tell Trump to facilitate all they want, but at the end of the day, if the guy's not... So here's my question. What does facilitate entail? How far do we have to go? Yeah. Because the president of El Salvador is under no obligation, regardless of what court said it, to send an El Salvadorian citizen to the United States. He doesn't have to do that. So if he just flat out says no, how far do we have to invade? Do we have to go take this guy out of the prison? And then what happens when this guy comes back? Like, so what are we doing here? How far does this go? The Supreme Court just can't say, well, I guess you got to go to war. You better send SEAL Team 6 in there.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And we're not going to. And El Salvador, legitimately, the president himself.
He has no desire to. He doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, he used the term smuggle. Like, which to me is very heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do it with you wanting me to do it. I'm not going to do it if you secretly want me to do it. Like I couldn't do it whether it was legal or illegal. I'm not going to do it.
Right. And so this is a very, very much an appeal to emotion here, right? This is all we're hearing about is, he was a father of 3 kids with special needs, and he had his wife and blah, 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 blah. And he was a hardworking guy. And you know what? All that's great. But this is the problem. This is the kind of shit that happens. And I'm not saying the Trump administration didn't make a mistake by deporting this guy. I don't know the context of it, right? We probably don't know all the details, and we probably never will. But here's the reality. When you just let anybody into the country and you just have this open border policy where anyone can come and go as they please, and we don't have any idea who the hell's coming in here, this is the kind of shit that happens. People stay here. And they settle down and they plant their roots and they start families. And when the chickens inevitably come home to roost because they've been living skirting past the rules for so long, they leave a wrecking path of more than just him. It's not just him that's affected now. There's at least 4 other people that are going to get fucked over by the fact that dad was too lazy to even try to become a citizen. Because here's the thing. If he was actually going through the steps to become a legal citizen, because his whole thing that he was staying here was he was worried about the gangs back in El Salvador. Well, you've been here 14 years. What did you do at age 16 to piss all these gang members off that they're going to gut you alive 14 years later for? Unless you had some type of ties to it, or you're lying. That's it. Unless you had some type of involvement with those gangs, or you're lying to us about the how serious the threat is. That's all there is to it. So when you just let anybody in here and these people just think they got a free ride forever and don't have to become a citizen, this is the shit that happens. There's a legitimate path of carnage that gets left behind them because of their negligence and because of their recklessness. Because like I said, had he been trying to become a citizen, this probably doesn't happen. But these people, they skirt through the rules and then they get surprised. Keep in mind, this is what Trump said. Trump said when he was running, we're going to deport everyone in the country illegally. Now, so far, he's only at least tried to deport all of the people that were gang members or violent criminals. So he hasn't
started with violent people.
Yeah. He hasn't even followed through on the promise. This isn't the extent of what he did. He originally said, everybody, the cleaning lady at Hilton, gone, right? Everyone's got to go. He hasn't done that.
Consider on my lesson when I was 8. Sayonara.
That's right.
Bye, lady.
Maybe they'll get your old nanny with the G.I. Joe. Could they get the G.I. Joe nanny? Or do you think he's already scooped her up?
She's got to be old now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's
50s,
true.
60s at least.
Well, that's like when I heard a story about, I don't remember what state it was in. It was a blue state. That's all I remember. ICE had a guy that was in prison, and they said, hey, you got this guy in prison. Violent sexual offenses against children. We're going to deport him. I think it was Massachusetts. I could be wrong. And the state, and whatever state it was, released this guy from prison so that ICE couldn't come pick him up from the prison and deport him. Let him out without any bail. Go ahead, get out of here. We'll see you at your court date. This guy flees. He's in the wind. Nobody knows where he is. ICE finally catches him the next state over. They let a violent child sex offender go so that ICE couldn't deport him.
Out of pure spite.
Politics over people, right? I mean, we're not talking about a guy who ran a red light here. Yeah. This is an active threat to society.
I will say,
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you can actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.